quick email video for lessons learned during week 0 for families. During this video, you're going to learn how to watch for when lessons and modules end and where to stop. This is going to be really important because we're finding that the curriculum sort of bleeds into the next module and students just keep going. And if it feels like it's probably too much to do, it is. We will also discuss family emails. Some of you have sent us update emails, but why you're still receiving emails from DVS at the old email. We're going to be looking at getting started lessons and how they run into actual curriculum modules. We're going to be looking for indicators for which lesson, folder, and module you're in and then change to. Why does the curriculum say there's a pretest or quiz and I can't see it? And what support is coming as your family prepares for week 1? And last, why do I keep getting emails from DVS at the wrong email? Here we go. All right, well, I'm in Schoology, and we're going to be jumping in. This is Kara Z. So this is actually what the curriculum looks like to you. And this will be important. This is actually what the curriculum looks like to a teacher. And we won't go through a lot of what it looks like to us, but there is some important things you're going to notice. So this week, one of the things you were supposed to do was go into Classroom, go into your English language, and do the Getting Started. Now, when it first started, there was actually a module here that said Module 1, and I'm going to show you. All right, so here's the master class. This is what it looked like when we first opened it up. And you'll notice that when we went to English Language Arts, there was a Module 1 here that said Understanding Characters. And when you opened it up, it looked like there was a pretest, and it looked like there was Lesson 1. So when you open the pretest, I just want to show you something. These rulers right here are actually the learning your child is going to be doing. So you'll see that in the pretest, and you might see that in Lesson 1. Now, I went back and I unpublished these, and I'm going to show you why. Because in the teacher version, you actually were supposed to see if it was up correctly under Module 1 in the pretest, you would have seen this puzzle, which was actually a quiz. And that's why some of you that went ahead were saying, well, my child doesn't have a quiz. Well, because it wasn't there. You are absolutely correct. So this was sort of a glitch, and we have rectified that by completely unpublishing Module 1. However, that doesn't mean your child is not still going to be accessing it, and we're going to talk about that next. So this was the master one. This is what you saw at the beginning. There was an actual Module 1. It did appear to have a pretest, but we learned later that it really wasn't there. And it did appear to have Lesson 1, although again, once you go back, you'll notice that even in Module 1, there were many lessons. So we learned, and it was a good experience, and now we're ready to go. So now your course should look pretty clean. We'll see how. All right, so you are taking a look now at our module. We are 4G, and one of the ways to know that is it definitely says 4G. And remember, when you click on the materials, you'll see our announcement. So I went into Classroom into 4G, and I went into English Language Arts, and I went into Getting Started. And we're going to take a look at these lessons, and you can tell they're lessons by rulers, and how to know where you are and when you've gone to. All right, so I'm still going to keep my course up just so you can kind of see the differences. And I want you to see what will happen when your child clicks in. So they're going to click in Things to Know, and I'm going to make this a little bit bigger for right now. And what's important for you to know as a parent is you're in this Getting Started folder right now. You're in the lesson, 0.01 Things to Know, and this is what they're working on. It even has the lesson right here, English Language Arts, and you'll notice that this lesson is 1 page long. So when they click on this, it actually changes from 1 to 4 because now they're in a new lesson that's called Navigation. But take a look, Things to Know didn't change, then the folder didn't change. So this is called Navigation. If I click back in Getting Started, you can see I'm in that second lesson. So what's important for you to know is your child will start out in this week 0, lesson 1, and they can actually work through all of the lessons in that folder Getting Started and not even realize that they're doing it. Now I'm in week 0, lesson 3, lessons and assessment. I'm going to click through, and hopefully, you need them to read everything that's here, and there's a lot of things going on, I know. We're going to click out of 4 to 4. We're in 1 out of 3. We're now lesson 4. And what we found was happening, and I'm going to go all the way to 7, okay? What we found was happening, so see I'm in lesson 6 pace. It still shows me in lesson 1. It still shows me in the folder getting started. Okay, so now I'm in academic integrity, and I'm in the last slide, 3 of 3 of lesson 7. So I'm going to pop out of this real quick and show you I have scrolled through all of these lessons. So now in theory, if I was to back up, there should be nothing else in this folder for a child to do. They should actually be like, I'm done, right? Well, watch what happens when I go to lesson integrity. I go to the very last page and I click on. It actually shows them the entire curriculum of what they'll be doing this semester. Now, why is that important to know? Because if you look, it's not published. It's not really published yet for a child to get started. Now, some of you are going to start ahead. You know that. You get excited. You feel like your child's ready. I totally get that. And that's fine. However, there's something to really know about that, is that once they go on and they get started, there is something missing. So if I go down and I go to understanding characters and I go to the first lesson, because again, there's going to be 9 lessons in this module, and just so you know, families, each week you won't have to do all 9 of these. You will actually only do, I believe, 3 or 4. So it's really nicely paced out. But for right now, we're going to go into the first one, and it talks about that this is a pretest, so it tells me where I am. But if I go back up to the top, remember there's 2 scroll bars. I'm still in getting started and in 0 academic integrity. So you can see how easy it is to kind of get lost in this curriculum a bit. But at the bottom of this, it talks about what is my assignment, and it says complete the pretest. This is where things get wonky, because if your child continues on, it just takes them to the next lesson. It won't take them to the pretest. So if they want to take a pretest, they have to go back into the right folder. Well, again, remember, they aren't in lesson 1. They aren't in the pretest. They aren't in module 1. They are in the getting started. So what happens is this quiz isn't available. That pretest isn't available to them until we unpublish it. When they go into module 1 and they go into lesson 1, this quiz that it talks about won't be available until it's unpublished. So that's a glitch that we found, and something good to know as your child is navigating it. So for this first week, if you wouldn't mind working with them and showing them how to tell what lesson they're in, what lesson they started in, and what folder they started in. Because at some point in time, there's a really good chance that they could drop into a new lesson and even go past this folder. All right? All right, last quick thing, email.